Ukrainian military experts and Telegram channels are still in a state of shock after yesterday's Russian missile attack on the places of the deployment of personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine in Selidovo. As it turned out, up to 2,000 militants of the Kiev regime were there during this missile attack. Even though General Sersky classified data on the results of this attack, Ukrainian independent journalists and bloggers continued to publish details of this bloody massacre. So, Ukrainian journalist Anatoly Sherry said that incompetent military commanders of the armed forces of Ukraine drove 1,500 to 2,000 Ukrainian soldiers to the Selidovo military polygon, making them an easy target for Russian missiles. According to him, Russia used a total of about 11 Iskander-M ballistic missiles, 8 of which were with a cluster warheads. At the same time, high-ranking officers of the armed forces of Ukraine are also among the dead, since they arrived at the military polygon immediately after the first strike, and this became their fatal mistake. As it turned out, Russian ballistic missiles hit the same targets again, after high-ranking officers of the armed forces of Ukraine arrived at the military polygon together with a group of Ukrainian soldiers, to assess the damage and sort out the rubble and debris. Moreover, as it turned out, on the night of February 14, Russia launched another massive missile attack on the places of the deployment of personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine. It is reported that in the dead of night, Ukrainian reserves were subjected to missile attacks in Pokrovsk, Pavlograd, and again in Selidovo. Since the Kiev authorities have strictly classified all data on Russian missile attacks, it is not known for certain which targets were destroyed, and what number of casualties among Ukrainian soldiers. However, according to witnesses, dozens of explosions were again recorded at military facilities in these cities, after which dozens of ambulances headed towards these facilities. Moreover, the number of victims was so high that ambulances began to arrive even from neighboring towns and villages. According to Russian sources, this time, the Russian military launched a combined strike using 15 Iskander-M ballistic missiles with cluster warheads, as well as Smerch multiple launch rocket systems. By the way, the missiles of these multiple launch rocket systems were also equipped with cluster warheads. Moreover, Russian sources also claim that as a result of yesterday's and today's missile strikes, the Russian military managed to destroy about 1,000 motivated militants of the nationalist battalion Azov, who were supposed to be transferred to Avdiivka. If this fact is confirmed, it will mean that the Ukrainian army has suffered devastating damage, after which it will no longer be able to recover, since motivated soldiers ready to fight against the Russians to the end practically did not remain in Ukraine. Meanwhile, insiders in Kiev claim that NATO military advisors are in a state of shock, watching as the Kiev authorities continue to send their elite reserves for slaughter to Avdiivka, in an attempt to stop the Russian army. According to war correspondents, all attempts by the Ukrainian military command to stop the Russian troops have failed. It is reported that on February 14, in Avdiivka, Russian troops managed to break through the defense of the armed forces of Ukraine on the eastern flank in several places at once, and approached that Avdiivka steel, at a distance of 100 meters. By the way, this is the same Avdiivka steel where President Zelensky took pictures, claiming that Avdiivka would never be surrendered to the Russians. Thus, it can be stated that the garrison of the armed forces of Ukraine in Avdiivka was almost cut into two parts. Ukrainian sources claim that the sensible commanders of the armed forces of Ukraine are literally begging President Zelensky and General Sersky to give the command to retreat, otherwise the lid of the cauldron will slam shut, and the Ukrainian soldiers will either be destroyed or captured by the Russian army. However, given the fact that this comedy actor is ready to make any sacrifices for the sake of his ambitions, the order to retreat will not be given, and Avdiivka will come under the control of the Russian army only after the complete destruction of the garrison and reserves of the armed forces of Ukraine, just as it was in Bakhmut, Soledar, Mariupol, and Mariinka.